All right, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our AMC10 series webinar. Maybe for the first time, okay, so this webinar is in English because we are aiming for the students. And if you're a student, please type a 1 in the chat box, let me know. Okay, so yeah, let me know. So how many of us students here? Sounds good. Okay, yeah. So I will also see. Okay, how many of you are my student? Okay, we'll see very soon. All right. So yeah. So the topic for today is how to succeed in both the accuracy and efficiency in the AMC10. Okay. So here, please let me introduce myself. Although many of you already know me, and this is teacher Jack. I'm currently the lead and coach of the Sync Olympiad. Currently, I'm the lead of 2023 AMC10 Sync Academy. So here is some brief introduction about me. I've been leading the Sync Olympiad since October 2021. Up to now, it's about 1.5 years. And this period, I wrote and coached more than 70 Sync Olympiad lectures. And last year, okay, so my first year professional math competition class recorded 16 AME qualifiers and 23 achievement roles, and all of them are at or below grade 7. Okay, so but yeah, these are only a very small group of students. So I guess that for majority of you, you know me better by taking the Algebra 1 honors or the advanced instructor. And very soon, okay, roughly 10 days later, I will see you in the geometry class in the summer very soon. So here, can you please indicate, okay, if you are my student, please let me know, okay. You don't have to type 1 anymore, okay, but you yeah, please type in the chat box, okay, if you are my student. And let me see, who is my student? I think there should be a few of you. You can say me or whatever, but let me know if there are any my student here. Okay, I see one of you. Anyone more? Okay, thanks. Yeah, good to know about you. Okay, yeah, so very good. And yeah, so why is me? Okay, so the majority of my work, in addition to a teacher, I'm a curriculum developer, and I know everything about the AMC10. Here, I'm striving to provide you the most professional advice about AMC10, so you can spend less time wondering where should I go, right? So yeah, that'll be a good idea. Okay. So then let's see. Okay, so since many of you are new to the math competition, here I'm also going to briefly show you the introduction to the US math competitions. And I'm just going to briefly talk about the last 2 levels, okay, the AMC8, 10 and 12. Okay, for the higher level, you can read through the slide afterwards. Okay, so yeah, so many of you here should be the middle schoolers, and in the past you might have taken the AMC8. So what is AMC8? It will be an amateur level math competition for 8th or below the graders, and you might already find there would be no further round of the competition, but it's helpful for the future competition journey for middle school and high school applications. Okay, so not sure how many of you, okay, but if you like get a distinguished honor roll in the 5th grade or 6th grade, yeah, you get some advantage in the private junior high school applications. Yeah, but then we are going to go to main topic where we take the AMC10 or 12, right? So this will be the first round of the most well-known and most prestigious math competition in the US. So for the recent years, okay, so this is the most up-to-date data here. If you score roughly top 7 to 8% in the AMC10 or top 12 to 13% in the AMC12, you are going to qualify for the AME. Okay, that's a little bit larger, percentage compared with before 2020. Okay, I'm not sure why. Okay, but perhaps due to the COVID and less people take the math competition. Yeah, so these years they give more people to qualify for AME, which is good news to you. Okay, you have a higher chance, right? But yeah, so this would be the goal for the majority of students. So if you want to strive for even higher level, then you can read through the slides later, okay, for about how to qualify for AME, USAMO, and eventually the national team for the IMO. Okay, yeah, so here I'm not going to spend too much time to introduce that. Well, you know, it's end of May and the summer is coming, right? But also, how much time do you have to prepare for the AMC10? Roughly 5.5 months. Okay, so the test date, although not confirmed officially, should be November the 9th and November the 15th of this year. Okay, so mark your calendar. Usually these days, okay, but yet to be confirmed by the official. And you need to know, okay, so how should I prepare in the summer? Should I play and enjoy all the summer? Perhaps not, right? So yeah, so we need to find out.
Give me
a second, okay. People need to get muted, okay. Yeah, so please mute yourself upon enrollment. So for today, okay, there will be a majority of 2 topics today. We will talk about the efficiency, accuracy, And also, yeah, some tips to get stronger in the summer. So first, yeah, we want to analyze the gaps between your skills and AME qualification. Apparently, in this 150 points examination, you only need to score 96, roughly 96 points, right? So convert to the percentage, 60 to 65%. But it's still hard to go. Okay, so we'll also take a look at the performance on the recent efficiency daily challenge and how to become stronger in the summer, and my suggestion for your test preparation, and also some test prep activities in the summer. Okay, so here, okay, so first question here, okay, so there are usually going to be two stages of the exam preparation. First is school math, right? You need to know the school math, and then you think about take the mock exams and also the past exams. Okay, but for our experience, okay, so if you get some rough preparation, usually you get like 60 to 70 in the AMC 10 or 12. And the school materials do not match the AMC, okay, that's the major reason. The school materials are low in difficulty. We will see the detailed examples. And also, the low in difficulty will result in the aftermath is that low skill and creativity levels. You can't merge multiple knowledge points in one problem. So in AMC 10, if you ever work on some more than intermediate questions, like question 10 or above, you are going to see that most questions require multiple knowledge, even for multiple modules. Some question, for example, okay, so it contains both the geometry and the counting is possible. So that's why, yeah, the school material won't prepare you for this difficulty. And lastly, okay, so you won't get higher score for studying more school math. This is why I'm going to explain very soon. Okay, you will see why. You might be surprised. Yeah, I'm going to take the AP calculus in 8th grade. Why I'm still not going to qualify for AME? Some reason. Okay, we will see. And yeah, so let's take some example. Okay, why the school materials do not match the AMC. So here, yeah, so incomplete knowledge points from the school. Okay, so at school, what is going to be the pathway that you follow in the school? So usually you take the algebra 1, then geometry, then the algebra 2 at school, right? So is that enough? Sorry, that's not enough. Okay, especially you might be surprised that algebra 2 is not even tested in the AMC 10, but the school covered the most basic algebra and geometry knowledge points, and is far away from the expectation of the AMC. Well, on the right side, okay, unfortunately it's in Chinese, okay, but yeah, you can read it like after the webinar. But we made some analysis regarding the topics covered at school compared with AMC topics. And in the 2021 for AMC 10A, only 11 out of 25, or 44% of the problems are covered in the school. Is it enough? So think about, okay, so if you get everything correct for the 11 questions, is that enough for you to get to the AME? Still not, okay? So that's why you need to study a lot outside the school. And regarding the school material, okay, so they're also low in difficulty, and let's make some comparison to the between the AMC problems and also the school problems here. Okay, so here are some algebra 1 common core that you do regularly at home, at school, and also some AMC 10 questions. And you can see that they cover the same topic, right? So these are the exponent questions here, and also the algebraic expression evaluation questions. But you find that although both the school and AMC cover the same knowledge point, the problems at school can't even cover any easy problems in the AMC. See how the exponent question tested in the AMC, right? You can see this is only question 5 in the AMC 10. But you can see it has you not only the exponential calculation, but also required to change the base. For example, in this question, right, you need to change the base from 8 to 4 or even 2, and then complete the calculation. So the consequence here, okay, so I need to point out the most crucial part is that even if you study well at school, you won't even score totally correct for the first 10 problems. So do you know the significance to get all correct on the first 10 problems? So if you take my class, okay, yeah, at Think Academy, like in the Algebra 1 class, I repeatedly mentioned the importance of getting first 10 questions straight correct, because it's far harder to get improved in the intermediate and harder questions. If you score all correct on the first 10 questions, you're halfway to qualify for the AME, right? So yeah, that's quite important. Okay, so that's why study harder is really necessary. And lastly, okay, so you don't get higher score for study more the school maths. That looks surprising, right? So I'm going to do a quick survey, okay? So for those of you who are listening to me, yeah, so how many of you are going to the school called Basis? Again, yeah, how many of you go to school called Basis? Let me know. So you can say me or yeah, or type of one in the chat box. There must be some, okay? Because a lot of you do so. Anyone? You can feel free to type in the chat box. If you go to school, the Basis Independent Academy. If you're in California or if you're in, I mean, Washington State, yeah, so many of you go there. There's only one of you responded. Nobody go there? Okay, so, well, I don't believe so, okay, yeah, so, but anyway, okay, so what I know is pretty surprising, okay, for my recent knowledge, okay, so in the Basis, I mean, the fastest students, they complete the pre-calculus in the 7th grade, okay, and then in 8th grade, they go to the AP calculus. Is that good? In some aspect, that's good, okay, in some aspect. So if you want to take more AP courses, right, and then get some advantage in the college application, feel free to do so, okay? So that's a good advantage, but that's not applicable to the AMC. Why? Let's take a look here, okay? So here are some statistics from the average score of the AMC, of the 2021 AMC. And what do we find here? Which grade level have the lowest average score? So apparently, okay, so AMC10 is for the majority for the grade 9 and grade 10, right? But then what do we find? The grade 9 and grade 10 would represent the lowest average score. So that will be different from your like your daily impression, right? I think, yeah, so you think, yeah, when you are older, you get stronger, right? So, but you find that they have the lower average score. The reason is that, so for higher graders, okay, they just complete the study about the algebra 1 geometry and then take it. But the school maths weren't enough to prepare for them. And in addition, the AMC10 only tests you about the algebra 1 geometry. There's no algebra 2 and pre-calculus, which means, yeah, if you are 10th grader and you finish study about the calculus, is that helpful? Calculus is barely, I think, in the history, okay, usually like there will be like 2 or 3 questions for every 10 years you can solve with calculus. So in general, okay, that won't be useful. So the majority of stuff you need to do is to study deeper, but rather than broader in the knowledge. Okay, that's quite important. So for conclusion here, the higher grade won't imply the higher score, and that's why start early. So a recommended starting point for the AMC10 will be 7th grade if you're not pursuing for the professional competition. Okay, if you are doing professional competition, it's even earlier, like 5th grade or 6th grade. Right. So again, 7th grade, okay, so will be a really good starting point for the AMC10. All right, so then we have passed the school part, okay, but then you might wonder, okay, I did well in the mock exams, but why I get lower in the actual exam? So here we also have some analysis regarding the time limit, the penalty for the wrong answers, and the super long paragraph-based problems, and also the flexible but categorized on the problems here. So I'm also going to make a quick survey here, okay? So many of you already started on the AMC10 preparation, and can you let me know? So if you have strict time limit in each of the preparation, regardless whether you are doing a single problem, for example, in an intermediate question, you try to complete within 4 or 5 minutes, or the entire exam, you just strictly follow the 75-minute time limit. So if you are doing so, please let me know in the chat box. How many of you are we do so? I see Sandy say me. Okay, yeah, I remember you. Okay, yeah, because like in the challenge, I see you do super efficient. Anyone else here? Okay, so control your time, like not to spend unlimited time in the AMC10 prep. Let me know in the chat box. Anyone else? Or feel free to let me know. Okay, so if you spend like unlimited time in the test prep. So which strategy do you take? Do you spend like limited time or unlimited time? So another student say that he would spend a ton of the extra time. It's fine, okay, yeah. It's all depend on your strategies. Especially, you will also see you're not going to do all the questions like in the AMC10 for the majority cases. Okay, so yeah, so here here's the time constraint, okay, pretty important here. Okay, so as a test location, I've been proctoring for the AMC10, AMC8 for the last 2 years. Okay, so here are some data we get here. Okay, so first, okay, so for the 30 minutes, yeah, so here I'm going to ask you a math question for the first time today. Okay, so tell me, okay, so if you are expected to all the questions like in the AMC, okay, if you do all the 25 questions, then how many questions you are expected to do after 30 minutes? This is the only math question I'm asking you, okay? So can you type in chat box? Do a quick calculation and tell me. So if you want to do all the questions in the AMC, then after 30 minutes, how many questions you're expected to finish with? Can you do some math? Can you type in chat box here? There are 25 problems and 75 minutes, right? So what will be expected number of the questions you do? Here I'm asking a math question, okay, see if you can get correct. Right, so 30 minutes would count for 40% of the total time, right? And there are 25 questions, so 25 times 0.4, there will be 10 questions. But yeah, so you can see, yeah, most students reach question 7 after 30 minutes. And then after 6 minutes, okay, 60 minutes, the question getting harder, right? So if you are on the uniform distribution, after 60 minutes, you need to do 20 questions. But is that real case? Yeah, people do even less, okay? They complete like roughly 12 questions. And after the full 75 minutes, students usually finish 12 to 18 problems. Is that okay? This is totally okay. That's not your fault, okay? Because the AMC is not designed for most people to complete all of the questions. But you need to have your correct strategy to tackle the entire exam. So let's take a look at a negative example, okay? A negative example very soon. Right? So the penalty for the wrong answers. So typically, okay, I would think like if you're taking the AMC10, you need to know the rule of the exam. But based on our record from the real exam and also the mock exam, this is not the real case, okay? Let's take a look at a negative example. And this is the result like from a student who take the AMC10 at Think Academy location last year. Look at what did this student do? Can you type in chat box? Okay, so what do you observe? I boxed it for you. Okay, what did this student do? Look at this screenshot, okay, and tell me what happened to that student. He might not guess all of them, okay, but yeah, so for all the questions, like after question number 5, apparently that student guessed, okay? So yeah, so that student answered all 25 questions, but what's his score? 42 points. Well, let me also ask you, okay, so if you just leave the exam totally blank, then how many points do you get? If you leave all the question blank, how many points do you get? You don't get 0, okay, of course, because you get 1.5 points for unanswered problems, right? Yeah. Just give me a second. People did not mute themselves. Okay. Yeah, just give you a joke. Okay. So the mode. Okay. So the mode of the mode. Okay. The statistics concept in the math. The mode of all the scores like at Think Academy location is what? 37.5. Not because people are doing terrible job. Okay. Because those people did not come to the exam. Yeah. So people do not come to the exam and they get 37.5. So if you get 42, that's nearly the same as that you do not come to the exam, right? So yeah, so that's why make sure that you skip the questions that you completely have no idea with. Okay, so in order to do so, you're not skipping the questions based on randomly, right? But yeah, you need to know your strengths. We all know that. Okay, so there are 4 major topics in the AMC, which are the algebra, geometry, number theory, and the combinatorics. And we understand that, yeah, so different people have their strengths, right? So, and in my impression, okay, most people are good at algebra, that's for sure, okay? Then also some people are good at geometry, but few people are good at number theory and the combinatorics. So that's why you need to do excellent on the algebra and then nearly excellent on the geometry. That will be sufficient for the number theory and the combinatorics, unless you are a professional competitor, okay, who want to pursue for the like USMO in the future. You only need to know how to work on very basic number theory and combinatorics. That'll be enough, all right? And yeah, so but how to prepare yourself better? Prepare more diligently, okay? The more past exam you do, the more you know about yourself, and then you know your own pace. And remember, okay, this is different from people by people, okay? I cannot give you personalized suggestion unless you introduce yourself to me, right? So then you need to know yourself well, and then design your personal test-taking strategies in the real exam, right? Make sure remember that. But again, the bottom line is that unless you think you're a world-class competitor, do not do all the questions on the AMC. Okay, last year in my class, there were students answer only 15 questions. He got all correct, and I'm not sure if he's in the room now. Okay, he should be proud of himself. Get all 15 questions correct. His score is 105 points. There's also a student gets 17 questions correct, and then get 114. That's nearly distinguished honor roll, right? So you don't have to answer all of them correct. Okay, so get some strategies. So, and also, okay, here are some information that you might not see elsewhere. Okay, but I just tell you, I used to talk to the person who designed AMC questions, and that's what they tell me. Okay, AMC has a big difficulty increment, and this is selective math competition with significant difficulty increment for every 5 problems. Okay, and question 1 through 5 is considered level 1, then question 6 to 10 is level 2, etc. Right? So again, it's all upon to you to design your personal test-taking strategy based on goal. For example, okay, 95% of you want to have the AME qualification. And just some bonus information, okay, all the math competition well designed, okay, so AMC 10-12, 5 problem per increment. If you take the AME in the future, there are 15 questions, and the increment will be every 3 problems, okay, so some bonus information, These exams are well designed and checked by experts, okay, so there won't be any surprise regarding the difficulty. All right, and also, okay, super long paragraph-based problems. So many of you are doing the mock exams, and did you realize that the the questions are getting longer and longer? Let me give you 2 extreme examples, okay? You can see both long paragraph problems in harder questions and easy questions. 2 of them, okay, 2 of them. Let's take a look at the 2021 Spring MC 10A, question 23. Third to last question, you might think, okay, that's a very hard question. I'm never going to solve it. But I will tell you, okay, so the payoff between the long paragraph and difficulty is that this long paragraph question become one of the easiest question 23 in the recent years. Usually it's unsolvable, okay, but only 10.16% of people get correct on this question. That's because, okay, people don't have time to even reach this question or finish reading this one. But if you are the person who really good at language interpretation, you might find the easiness of this question and then get it correct, right? Question 23, okay, a highly prestigious question. But you might think, okay, so I never reached the question 23 and I can simply give up. Is that fine? Yes, it's fine. But it's not fine to give up a question number 4, right? So look at this, okay? If you took the AMC 10 last year, right? So did you see this question? This question made a lot of people lose points, okay? So it's only question 4, but in single academic location, only roughly 30% of students get correct. Remember, okay, so people come to single academic, many of them are pretty smart, okay? The average score at single academic location is higher than the national average, but still, there are only 30% of students get correct on this question, okay? So that's why multiple reasons. First, people have interpretation issues, and also I will come back to this question later, okay? There will be another level of the competition skills, okay? I will come back very soon. All right, but here, okay, so here is also a huge data table that created by our researcher, okay? So I'm not going to read all through the data here, okay? But if interested, we are going to share the slides afterwards. And if you are interested in data, you can look at them, okay? But overall speaking, we look at the average score on the last 2 columns. And we can see usually the first 3 questions are freebies. And everyone get correct. And then for the question 4 through 9, you must get correct. And then you strive for the AME for the question 10 through 16. And that's the majority of the question you do. Okay, so you can see for the AME question, how many people qualify for AME? Roughly 7 to 8%, right? But what would be the correct rate for these questions? It's actually higher, right? People will get like roughly 20% correct on question 10 through 16. But how to get all of them correct? That's hard, okay, that's hard. So that's why, so you need to focus on the questions before the question 15. And usually, okay, for the first 15 questions, you get like 13 or 14 correct. There will be some room for you to get incorrect. You still qualify for AME. But for the later question, unless you have a higher goal, okay, only like roughly 5% of people do so. You don't have to be too serious about them, right? So question 17 to 20 for the DHR, and the question 21 to question 25 are for the people who want to qualify for the USHM. Yeah, so that's for only a very handful of students, okay, not for the majority of our people. All right, so then yeah, so again, okay, so if you need the data, yeah, we are going to send it to you afterwards. Okay, yeah, you don't have to take a screenshot here. All right, so then some comments on the recent AMC10 efficiency challenge. Okay, so here I'm also going to do a quick survey here, right? So up to now, we have hosted 2 rounds of the daily challenge, once in March and once recently in the May. So let me know, okay, so how many of you did at least one of these challenge? Please indicate in the chat box. You can type a 1 or say I did it. Yeah, so let me know. How many of you did that? You not necessarily send it to the WeChat group, okay, but at least you did it personally, okay, that's fine. How many of you did that? I see Alex, Roy, and who else did that? Did you take the enough resource, right? So here, these questions are not random picked, okay? These questions are picked by the purpose. For all the questions, yeah, they have some characters for you to improve with, right? But for the majority of the, preparation, you still need to do a large-scale problem, okay? But not for these questions. But these questions have special characters. Okay? And yeah, so compared with the March basic challenge, which we picked the level 1 and level 2 questions, between question 1 to 10, the correct rates are lower in the May ones. Okay? So the majority of the users indicate that they spend 5 to 7 minutes to complete the level 2 to question number 3. Sorry. To complete a level 2 to 3 problem in the May challenge. If you report it, okay, yeah, we check your report, but some of you leave them blank, or I don't know, yeah, how much time you spend. Yeah, but 5 to 7 minutes for the level 2 to 3 question is that enough? Merely, okay, I think, yeah, if you want to do better in the AMC, you need to have higher efficiency. So let's take an example, okay. So for example, how much time did you spend on this question? This is the one of the daily challenge question, okay? It's question 15 from the 2012. So not only this is a long paragraph question, but what is another specialty of this question here? If you quickly look at this question, you can see it's about some real life events. This is a sport game question, okay? The sport game questions here. So my suggestion here, okay, you can see, you might also see the question that require knowledge of the real life events. Not limit to the sports, okay? I'm soon going to go back to the question 4 in the last year, okay? But please allow me to finish this slide here. So if you see something new, the test writer also takes some consideration, okay? So they want you to understand, even if you have no experience regarding like sports, right? So a good choice is to mark the paragraph, and then you can also draw a simple diagram to boost your understanding. That's quite important. For example, right? So this is a 6-team round robin tournament, and you can try to design, okay, so a chart and to indicate, yeah, so make some examples whether team win or lose the game, right? That's a good suggestion here. And an overall suggestion, okay, but it's a little bit hard, is that you can try to broaden your overall knowledge in other subjects, okay? That cannot be completed in a single day, okay? But yeah, so you can try to read some encyclopedia or yeah, get more knowledge regarding like things about like sports, history, for example, okay? So to broaden your overall knowledge. And then in addition to the sports, let's quickly go back to the previous slide, okay? How will this help you if you know more knowledge? From previous slide, okay, I'm going back to this question, okay, this question. See this question here, okay? So how is the data presented here? So liters per 100 kilometer, right? And in the US, people say miles per gallon. The data given here are in the letters. See, 1 kilometer equals to M miles and 1 gallon equal to L liters. So if you purely use these letters, it might be a little bit hard and inefficient to solve this question. But if you really get stuck, if you are have more knowledge, do you know that 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer is roughly 0.6 miles, and 1 gallon is roughly 3.9 liters. If you can play with numbers and you have no idea how to solve this question, you are highly likely to get correct. Okay, highly likely to get correct. So yeah, more knowledge help you to solve the question in a more efficient manner. That's must. All right. So then I also briefly talk about the flexible competition question with many possible solutions. Okay, this is also a question that you solved in the daily challenge. And this is question 15 from the recent AMC10. And there will be multiple ways to solve it, okay? And we summarize 3 ways. And for the best way, okay, less than 3 minutes, we consider it like a DHR level. We observe that the exponents form a arithmetic sequence. My bad, okay, here, I have a little bit cold. So here, we have the exponents form a arithmetic sequence, 11, 7, and 3, right? So if you realize that, you can try to factor out the x cubed term and then use the fact x plus 1 over x equal to root 5. This is high proficiency and creativity. But not everyone think about this, okay? Some people might also choose to reduce the power, right? To reduce the high power from the 11 to a lower power. This is low efficiency skill for here, but still quite useful in the math competition. And last but the worst way, okay? So if you just study school math, what happens? So this is a rational equation here, right? X plus 1 over x is equal to root 5. And then you need some enhancement, because if you solve this equation, you're expected to get a solution with a root here, right? And then you plug in, that's nearly impossible to solve it, right? So yeah, so the school level is impossible for the competition questions, right? So be careful on this part. So overall, make a summary here. Okay? It's like computer programming. So I know many of you not only do math, but you also do computer programming, right? So you have many ways to solve the same problem, but the efficiency would distinct dramatically. Okay, so yeah, try to improve on this part. All right, finally, okay, so testing strategy. This might be your favorite, okay, but still need to spend some time on it. Let's take a look here. Okay, so in general, okay, so you won't get improved if you don't prepare, right? So like what I said, yeah, start early, roughly 7th grade, okay, but if you leave it later, it's fine. And start often, and finally sprint before the exam. So if you work on daily, the AMC10, even if you're sick on the AMC10 testing date, you still get a minimum score, okay? That's what we call the lower bound of your AMC score, start early. But in addition to the regular work, yeah, the sprinting work before the exam is also quite important. So before the exam, you might also enhance your testing strategies, right? And also work on more mock exams. And also you work on the right time period. For example, your test center test at night, then you need to, like a single cameo, okay, last year we host like between 6 and 7:15 p.m., right? So then, yeah, you spend like 1 or 2 weeks and work on the mock exam in this time period. And then, yeah, you will be more comfortable in the real exam, okay? And the general suggestion, okay, but not all the exam, but not just for the AMC, they should have their unique syllabus, focus, and problem styles, right? For example, math count will be slightly different from the AMC, right? And also some of you take the math league, and for each kind of competition, you need to adapt to its styles. So you need to prepare often. So how to improve your overall math proficiency, not only for the AMC10, but for all math competitions, okay? So these again, something about math for today, okay, here. Okay, so models, okay. So they are also known as the secondary conclusions. So in the mathematics, we have a lot of formulas and also the models here. So here I just give you some regular example, okay? But the models are more prominent in the geometry. In the geometry, especially if we want to solve harder questions involving like similar triangles, the model is quite important. With these secondary conclusions, you don't have to deduce them in the real exam. So this will greatly boost your efficiency, quite important. And then Pythagorean triples, okay? So when teaching geometry class, okay, so I usually ask people, if you see these numbers, do you see some common numbers? Well, many people might know better, okay, if they see a number like 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10. But what about I give you 7, 24, can you realize 25? That's tested in the AMC, okay, quite important, right? Alternatively, if I give you like 9 and 40, what will be the third number? You can type in chat box, okay? I ask you another math question, okay? If I give you like 9 and 40, right? So then what will be the third number? Again, these are tested in AMC, okay? So yeah, make sure you'll be good. Okay, 41, right? Yeah, if you remember that, okay, that's excellent. Okay, and then some general tips. Okay, so the square for the 1 through 20 and the cubes for 1 through 10. Yeah, quite useful. And some general rules for the prime factorization, like 1 over 1 equal to 7 times 11 times 13. That's quite classical. Okay, yeah, numerous times they've tested. And the final tip. Okay, final tip. Usually, it might be good for you to remember the prime factorization for the current year. Okay, last year before the exam, I asked people to memorize the rule for the prime factorization for the 2022, right? But this year, what about 2023? Take a look. Okay, and finally, okay, regarding your calculation skills, regarding arithmetic, the AMC10 tests you within the 4 digits. Okay, so you need to know how to operate a regular calculation within 9999. Okay, yeah. So usually, more than 5 digits won't be tested in the AMC. All right. So yeah, improve your arithmetic skills because you are not able to use a calculator in the AMC. And then, just like what we mentioned in the efficiency challenge, yeah, make sure you have multiple but reasonable solutions for the same question. Don't spend like 30 minutes in a question. Okay, this might be a method, but you never apply it like in the AMC. So as long as the method is reasonable, I highly encourage you to find 2 or 3 methods to solve the question. Then you will determine which method is preferable to you. This is also case by case for different students. Okay, we are not going to say like a single method is suitable for everyone. Okay, this is also personalized, and only you know which method, reasonable method is preferable to you. And by that, you know that yeah, for certain style questions, how would you solve them, and you will be less likely to get stuck on the real exam. Finally, okay, and also some elimination skills on the multiple choices. I also picked the 2 examples for you. Look at the first one, okay? If you look at the first one, yeah, tell me, okay, which answer choices you're immediately going to eliminate with. Yeah, I lied, okay, I keep asking math question, right? But for the first one, okay, so which answer choices you're immediately going to eliminate? If you take a look here, by some easy thoughts here, right? D and E, okay, yeah. So if you plug in x equal to -1, -2, -3, -4, right? You get at most 2019, right? So therefore, D and E will be immediately eliminated. And usually, okay, the question won't be that easy, okay? So usually C is also eliminated. This means even if you have no idea, this question, it's like a 50-50 chance, okay, to pick between A and B, even if you have no idea how to solve it, all right? And also for the last year, okay, so this question a little bit harder. You need to know the number theory involving the congruous modulo. For example, here, okay, so if you know the congruous modulo rule, you will see answer choice A is a multiple of 3, and answer choice B is a multiple of 5, right? So they are immediately get rid of, and then you analyze the rest of them. So these are quite useful strategies, okay, so to eliminate the failed multiple choice the choices. And then we talk about the working on the past exams, right? So you might worry about doing too many past exams. Okay, so I do too many of them, and before the exam, I do not have enough resource. In my perspective, it's okay. Why? Because there are like more than 45. I don't count exactly, okay, but there should be more than 45 past exams. I'm a math curriculum developer. Like my daily job is to work on this exam. Okay, I feel there's a lot of work. So you are still students. I don't think you can easily like complete all of them. So yeah. So when doing the preparations, yeah. So feel free to use the past exams. You won't exhaust all the resources. Okay. So yeah. So but you need to be serious when taking them, right? Even if you exhaust all the resources, do not forget you also have plenty of the mock exam from the senior coming. So that's why if you're a beginner, work on the 2000s exams. They are relatively easier. But if you find you're more proficient, then you start working on the 2010s exam, even for the recent years, right? So yeah. So again, do not be worried too much about the past exams. You're not likely to work all of them, and feel free to work like 2 or 3 exams per week. They'll be sufficient. Okay. So in the summer. But it will be hard, okay? So developing the curriculum is my job, right? But you are still a student. You might find it will be too hard to persist to work on the past exam. So yeah, we understand you might feel bored, we're working on the past exams, and yeah, it takes time, okay? For the first week, you might find it good, but after like 3 weeks, you get passive, right? So that's also reflected in the daily challenge, okay? We take the statistics. So the first day, the most amount of people work on the daily challenge. But for the last day, okay, less and less people are working on them. So that's why, yeah, it's a good idea to work with your peers and boost with efficiency. You can find your classmates, right, to work together and to improve on that. So here, I also want to make some recommendations, okay, some light and nice classes. Yeah, so we have the Let's Tackle AMC10, which you might already know. These are all the past exam reviews. So yeah, so these classes will be focusing on the question 11 through question 20. And we have the Think Olympia coach to teach on them. So these classes will boost your efficiency to sprint for the AMI. And we have 3 rounds. For the detailed information, you can ask us, okay, for, yeah, here, I'm not going to introduce all of them, but there are 3 rounds, and they all focus on different exams, okay? The round 1, 2, 3 are different. So I'm going to briefly let you know what are we going to cover over the summer. And these are pretty light, okay, only for like 4 lessons, so pretty reasonable. But these classes are not taken if you are beginners, okay? So you need to have the prerequisite that you can solve 8 to 10 problems independently. If you're a total beginner, do not take this class, okay? So you will totally get lost. And in addition, you can ask for advisor for the right class to be taken. So yeah, so these are the arrangement, okay? So you can take screenshot. We will also share in the WeChat group. Yeah, so here, let me tell you, okay, how do we select the exams? So for 4 exams, yeah, we pick 1 easy one and 2 intermediate one and 1 hard one, okay, for each round. Yeah, and they're all different, and you can spend your time like in the summer to improve on them. And yeah, so here the first round is about to start, but there are too many classes here, okay? So here, yeah, you can, yeah, now actually your parents should join, okay? So if you find there's too much information, do not worry, okay? So there are too many choices, and the most important information will be the AMC10 official website for everything, okay? We are soon going to have a mock exam. In August, we are also going to open the registration for the real exam. Yeah, so this is not the first time I introduce that, okay? But yeah, if you haven't done so, please visit and bookmark the AMC10 official website because everything's there, right? So I'm going to pause a little bit, and it's really important to take this website, okay? Regardless whether taking class, okay? You find a class there, you also find mock exam, and also you find the real exam registration. Okay? That's quite important. All right, so yeah, I will also send this QR code later. Okay, so then yeah, we have another mock exam ready. Okay, yeah, so that's quite important. Yeah, so after roughly 2.5 weeks, yeah, we will have another mock exam in the weekend of June the 17th. Okay, so it will be a good access to your current skill level and spend some time in the summer, right? So set up the preparation plan for the summer. Okay, so you can scan the QR code for the registration, and we'll also send it later. Okay. In the WeChat group. Okay, so yeah, make sure to focus on that. Spend some time to work on them. And how many of you take the April one? Okay, so you might find the April one a little bit harder. Yeah, so this time we will make slightly easier. Okay, so to ensure to access your real level, okay, in the MC. Yeah, this one will be slightly but not significantly easier. Okay. And lastly, okay, I will give you some sample timeline for you. Okay, so but this is also sample. Okay, you need to design your personalized timeline. So in the June, July, take the mock exam. Okay, so you are going to know your current skill level. Okay, so we have the mock exam and most importantly, okay, high and full accuracy on the first 10 problems. Okay, I told you, right? First 10 problems are critical for qualification to the AMI. In August here, I will suggest you to review the missed problems and enhance your weak modules. And in August, yes, we are going to have another mock exam. You can practice, and we will also have a last round of daily challenge focused on the intermediate problems. And in the September, October, we have the final review, and then we will offer the AMC10 Honor Camp based on your score in the August mock exam to enhance your test taking strategies. But the Honor Camp will have a high requirement. Okay, so if you do not score high enough in the mock exam, you will need to take next year. Okay, so it's very difficult. Some of you might take it last year, all right? So, and then finally, okay, last but not least, okay, this looks a silly question, but this happens repeatedly for the last 2 years. Before the exam, people notify us, I forgot to register for the AMC10, right? So this will be serious topic, okay? Yeah, so please take it seriously. So like last year, okay, Sing Academy will also host AMC10 and very likely the AMC12 in the 2023. But the registration will open in August. So do not wait until last minute, like November the 5th, and you tell me you haven't registered. Okay, that will be a terrible thing. Okay, so yeah, so do not forget. Okay, so please focus on our WeChat group, and once the registry opens, register anyway. Okay, so usually you get a discounted price at Sing Academy. It's cheaper than other places, unless your school offer it. Okay, so and also yeah, some of you might already get benefit from that. If you get awarded in AMC10, we will honor your achievement with great prizes, including the coins for Sing Academy. Okay, you can also choose the real gifts such as like the instant camera or the airport. Okay, yeah, so like this year. If you get really high, like you qualify for the USHMO, then you get a scholarship for $1,000. Okay, yeah, that's all. That's still applicable for the next year. All right, so that's all for today's webinar, and thanks for coming here. Okay, so as usual, I'm also going to host a brief Q&R session. But make sure, okay, if you haven't joined the AMC10 group, make sure scan it, okay? So based on my survey, okay, I see many people lack of information. They do not get information we posted in the AMC10 group. So if you haven't joined, so please scan the scan and add the AMC10 expert assistant, and also have a personalized test prep timeline for you, okay? So that'll be all, and I will also answer some questions, okay? So you already see some questions in the chat box, and if you have additional questions, feel free to unmute yourself, okay? Here, yeah, now I allow you to unmute yourself, okay? So feel free to ask me. And for the, Q&A, we can use the Chinese, okay, if you want. So if you are parent asking me, you don't have to use English, okay? You can 你可以直接用中文，就是向我提问。但是那个现在 chat box 里面那些就是英文的提问的话，我还是用英文回答。So they're still asking, are the 2 mock tests the same, or should I attend both? Yeah. So for the 2 days, okay, they will be the same, but this will be completely different from the past mock exam you take. Okay, they will be different. And Frank asked, yeah. So if you didn't see the gift email until after deadline, do you still get a gift? I'm not sure. What do you mean? You well, yeah, so if you miss a gift, yeah, please scan the QR code, okay? Let the assistant help you to get a gift if you get like awarded in the AMC, okay? Yeah, me also want camera and airport for the mass condition. I'm not sure if you want that like in last year's AMC. If you did so, very good job. Yeah, but yeah, get even better award, right? Scholarship like for next year, okay, if you get to the DHR. Okay, so you have no idea the gifts existed. Yeah, first to check if you take the exam with Sing Academy, okay? So if you do so, scan the QR code. Or if you take a long-term course at Sing Academy, that's also another option, right? 好，那么这边问一下，就是有没有家长有那个就是那个额外的什么提问的？对，您可以直接就是开麦啊，用中文直接向我提问就可以了。对，那个大家可以或者直接用中文打在这个 chat box 也是可以的。关于礼物的问题啊，就是我用中文再重复一遍，就是孩子如果那个是在 Think Academy 考场，或者他参加我们长期班，不是短期班，那个备考班不算，就是长期班，或者是在那个考场的话，如果没有收到礼物的话，可以直接就是扫码，就是问 advisor， 就看一下有没有是不是漏登记。但是如果没有在我们考场或者没有参加长期班的话，那么是在外面获奖，那是没有那个奖品的。对，好，那么看一下这边咱们有什么需要向我提问的？对。大家尽管向我提问，也可以直接打在 chat box 里面。对，现在大家可以直接看到，对，是可以。请问如果上完了 Algebra Geometry， 把所有题都搞明白了 ，AMC10可以拿多少分？首先这个 Algebra Geometry 的话，如果全部上完，它从知识点覆盖层面上已经覆盖了 Amy 所需的分数，就是我们通常所说的这个96分左右的一个水平。但是呢，孩子肯定是要花大量时间去自行进行备考，进行去刷题的，对，不然的话，光靠上这个课的话，不准备那肯定是拿不到想要的分数。但知识点层面是可以覆盖到 Amy 的水平的。 现在可以 AMC 是考试报名吗？还没有啊，官方还没有定的考试日期啊，就是我们那个预计的考试日期是11月9号、15号，对，但是有待官方公布，所以等8月份的时候我们会那个开放报名，对。好，看一下还有别的需要提问的部分吗？好，那大家如果现在暂时没有问题的话，也不要紧，就是那个随时就是添加咱们的这个 advisor 的号，然后的话向我们的 advisor 就是索取个性化的，只要您愿意分享自己孩子的一个情况，我们都可以根据孩子那个个性化情况，就是来给大家制定那个备考时间线。但是如果您不说的话，那我们也就是无从下手，巧妇难为无米之炊啊。所以尽量提供那个就是更多的孩子那个数学进度啊和平时考试习惯，对，这个很重要，对。然后那个does AMC10 cover algebra 2 and the trick? The answer is no. Okay, so but if you know a little bit about the algebra 2 and the trick, you might get some advantage from special question. Okay, but in general, if you don't have time, okay, so focus on the non-trick part. Okay, yeah. So in general, all the question can solve the without trick. 好，对，谢谢大家认可。对，那个这次我们那个刷题班的话是由我们这个 Single Olympia Year One 的教练雨儿老师会负责那个课程，对，我可能会负责后面的那个冲刺班，对，就是9月份那个冲刺班。然后 Mock Test 后面有视频讲解吗？Mock Test 我们不会安排那个视频讲解，但是我们会提供那个精编版的那个解析，对，大家可以参考那个解析。同时呢，如果大家就像那个考了那个4月份那个模考的话，这次也一样的，我们会提供那个非常详细的那个考核报告，就是我们一个对最近开发的一个比较高级的那个考核报告，会比较详细的就是分析孩子这个就是优点和弱点。对，好，那看一下还有 last minute question 吗？对，课程的话我们会有不同老师但是全部都是我们那个 Think Olympia 的这个团队的老师就是有那个就是教 Year One 的，对，也有教那个以后那个 Year Three 的老师都会教这个不同的这个AMC10的那个备考班级。Mock test 是真题吗？偶尔会有几道，但是是不易察觉的。对，25道题里面偶尔会有几道，但大部分都不是真题对，大部分都是我们自己出的。对，可能有3到4道真题。对，然后刷真题还就是刷前20还是都刷。如果孩子是以 Amy 为目标的话，初期的话是前15题，后期的话如果觉得比较熟练的话，前20题也是可以的。但是如果除非是专业竞赛的话，后面5题可以放在比较低的优先级里面。
亚克老师，
您好，
您好，抱歉我开麦问一下个问题。
大家可以直接开麦，没有问题的。对，
对，我想问一个问题，我这个问题如果要是有冒犯的话，还请你原谅我就想探讨一下，就是我小孩上课我发现就是咱们这个Think Academy 这个美国的公司有一些老师的比如说他的本科，或是他本身不是学数学出身的，因为学而思在中国在大陆的时候，他的老师大概率基本上教数学的都是数学专业出身的。我就想请问一下，就是当然这种老师就是比如说美国的老师，他可以进行培训，讲这道题可以讲出来，但是在更高级别的课上，因为他的专业他不是搞数学出身的，他会不会就仅仅的就是表面上的知识点的教授，而不会就是说举一反三的那方面会弱一些呢？
这要看什么级别的课程。首先是这样的，就是首先我们的主讲老师都是数学出身，比如说我，还有就是您官网上看那些主讲老师，对，
是。
但是我们的助教呢，就我们那些那个 VIP teacher 的话，他们有些不一定是那个数学专业的，但是他们也不会去负责那个更高级别的课程，对，所以就是像 honors 班这样的这种常规竞赛的话。确实也是不需要特别有数学背景，但是如果是像我们 Think Olympia 的教练，那肯定都是那个数学背景，而且是硕士级，至少硕士甚至博士级别的。对。
那小孩由这种低级别往高级别去晋升的话，这个课程，这老师的一开始带他的老师，他本身不是数学专业出身，他会影响他后面的这种晋级吗？
您是说那个 比如说从 Algebra 1晋升到那个 Geometry 是吧？
对，就是一级级往上这样上着这种更高级的班的话，我就说小孩的这种数学的思维也好，什么也打开也好，是不是一开始的这个老师也很关键？
明白。首先那个这个如果是首先小学如果从小学角度来看的话，那确实就是老师的这个外公的表现对孩子那个注意力吸引力会更加重要。对，进入中学阶段，这边这个主讲老师保证都是那个数学就是背景出身的，数学都非常好的。对，所以说的话，主任老师这一块肯定是没有问题的。至于我们那个就是课后的那个那个 VIP teacher 的话，对。他们的话不一定是那个数学专业，但是他们经过相对应的培训的话，也可以把题目讲得非常出彩。所以从我的角度来看，这个是比较合理。当然，如果是上那个 AMC10相关的课程，那肯定都是数学专业的。对，就是我们什么模块班刷题班最后冲刺班，这个肯定都是数学专业，这个您放心。对，
好的，谢谢您。
不客气。对。好，那看一下还有对，当然如果需要的话，也可以直接那个开麦。好，那如果这边暂时没有问题的话，对，非常感谢大家参与。对，那么也祝孩子可以在那个暑假里面能够分配足够多的时间。对，如果想要取得成绩的话，对，稍微投入一下，这样的话可以起到一个比较明显的提高作用。好，那么就下次讲座再见，还有大家记得参加模考。好，那就这样 ，OK， 拜拜。